And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar hosted by Parloa. Really excited to have you. You are absolutely where you should be today. It's about intelligent bots, finally. And you'll hear about how to leverage phone automation, AI-driven phone automation, for a great customer experience. I see that people are still arriving, so let's give them a couple more moments before we actually get started. More and more people coming. Welcome to the Parloa webinar. Hello, hello. You are where you should be. And we'll wait just a couple more moments longer. All right, then I would say we will get started now. A huge welcome from us to you to the Parloa webinar about intelligent bots, finally, and the 5 ways on how to really leverage phone automation for a wonderful customer experience. My name is Julie Gölles. I'm the VP Marketing at Parloa, and right beside me, you see our fabulous Chief Evangelist and speaker, Axel.
Yes, hi, my name is Axel. Been here on a long journey for Parloa, former lead of the experience department on our end, and now happy to talk a bit about Parloa and how we approach a stellar CX as you see.
Really good. We'll also take a quick look at the agenda of today, and I can promise you, you will get a full load of AI in contact centers today. And what you can expect in the next 30 minutes is the following. It's full insurance power. And first, you will find out on who Parloa is and also how we can help you transform your contact center with AI. And very specifically, we'll talk about 5 ways on how to leverage phone automation so you can create a great customer experience. And you will also learn about how you can use ChatGPT, Bard, and other large language models to change your contact center. And at the end, of course, we'll leave some time for you to pose your questions. You can also, during the webinar, already put the questions into the chat box on the right-hand side. We will collect them and then answer them at the end. And one last piece of housekeeping, of course, we will be recording this webinar. So good news for you. So you can either rewatch it afterwards and or also share it with all your favorite colleagues and friends. And with that, I would love to hand it over to you, Axel. Take it from here, and I'll see you all on the other side. Enjoy.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, and speaking about Parloa, of course, I could show you a lot of slides about what our company is about. We're Berlin-based, more than 100 employees, thriving for the best customer experience in the service area. But I want to focus on why do we do it and how do we do it. And to start and to kick it off, of course, this is a business webinar, but we have one thing in common, although I don't see and know each other of you, because we are all customers somewhere. And as customers, I would say we are all frustrated. Why are we? Because we have to deal with experiences like the following of the Kronos insurance we invented for this demo. Let me give you a brief idea of what I mean. Let's say I call the Kronos insurance and I want to change my address and I also want to report a claim. But what do I do if I call the Kronos insurance and it sounds like this?
Welcome to Kronos Insurance. Please say contract if you want to change your personal data or adjust your contract. Say claim if you want to report a claim or have information.
Contract and claim.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Please say contract or press 1.
Ah.
Say, claim, or press contract. All right. Please say, address, or press 1 to report a new address. Say, payment. All right, thank you. We are currently receiving a lot of calls, so unfortunately your estimated waiting time is about 23 minutes. Please wait.
So I can stop here. I could ask the question if you ever experienced this, but I think this question is obsolete. And you are not alone. We all experienced this. 91% of your customers as well reported poor customer service in the last 6 months alone. So I definitely can't say we are all frustrated. But not only we as customers are frustrated, also the agents are frustrated. But why are they? It's very straightforward. 40%, up to 40% of their time is repetitive tasks like authentication, routing, intent recognition, everything you do over and over again. 40% of their time is maybe also the reason why 71% of them considered leaving in the last 12 months alone. And exactly this is where Parloa comes in. We revolutionize the way how companies benefit from AI in customer service. And speaking of AI, we're giving you at the hand every needed component like neural voices, automated speech recognition, as well as large language models. And I will come to that point later. So speaking of AI, why AI? Because AI is changing customer service. It is doing it now, and it will do so forever. And if you think of AI and customer service, you may think of chat. Of course, there are a lot of tools out there who started doing chat, automating chat. But what we did, we turned it around. We focused on phone first because we understand phone is your most relevant customer service channel, and it's not so easy to automate, just like chat. So we revolutionized the way how phone automation works, but of course also enable you to automate chat, messenger, and every other platform you can think of, because Parloa is a multi-channel AI platform for all relevant customer service touchpoints. Without going into detail here, just to break it down, Parloa is, as I said, developed and optimized for telephony, but of course chat, is pre-trained for customer service use case, every one you can think of. And of course, it's also easy to use for you and your teams, thanks to our low-code front end. Maybe just let's have a quick look into the front end. Here you see is our graph. You can visually build your dialogues. You can drag and drop every relevant block you see. You can also use generative AI to generate, for example, responses without doing it on your own based on one response, for example. Same as for speech assets. You can generate your utterances for your speech assets, embed it into your intents, write briefings for every speech model and intent you can think of. Connect every backend thanks to our REST API and open APIs. You can connect your CRM and whatever, and you can also use our training interface to see why people are actually calling or chatting and train it into your speech model. So yeah, I would say easy to use thanks to our low-code front end. All of this together is Parloa, but of course it's not only about outstanding tech and a beautiful front end, it's also about KPIs. And we understand your contact center is one of the most KPI-driven departments. Thus, we enable you to reduce your average handling time and optimize your first contact resolution rate, as well as, of course, boost your net promoter score or customer satisfaction score, and increase your return on investment for everything we talk about. We always answer, use our AI. And let's focus on maybe one KPI. Let's talk about the return on invest just some seconds. In most cases, our customers reach their ROI after 3 to 6 months. And with only one single use case, authentication, you can already save 50 cents to €1 per call. So yeah, now you can do the math and say how much money you can save in your contact center just by using Parloa. So there are a lot of great KPIs to optimize. But what really drives us at Parloa is a better customer experience and happier agents. Therefore, we empower everyone to create an outstanding Parloa experience. And to give you an example how this can sound, let's call the Kronos Insurance again, but this time with Parloa.
Welcome to Kronos Insurance. How may I help you?
Hey there, I moved, so I need to change my address. And I had an accident with my car yesterday. I need your help, please.
Got it. So that I can record your new address and help you with your claim, for authentication purposes, please tell me your full name.
Yeah, my name is Axel Dittmann.
Thank you. And when's your birthday?
It's the 2nd of April, 1988.
All right, I was able to successfully authenticate you with that. Thank you very much. What is your new address?
That's 20 Albany Street in the beautiful city of Boston.
So it's 20 Albany Street in Boston, Massachusetts?
Yes, that's right.
Good, then I'll save that directly into our system. Now let's talk about the damage to your vehicle. It's actually best to report it yourself using our online form. May I send you an SMS with a direct link, or would you rather wait a few minutes and talk it through with a human on the phone?
Oh, send me the link. That sounds fine.
Okay, the SMS is on its way. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, thank you very much. That was awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. On behalf of Kronos Insurance, I wish you a great day. Goodbye.
So this is how a customer service experience should sound like. And this is what we call the Parloa experience, enabling already some great companies like the ones you see here. Ergo, for example, daughter of the Munich Re, is using Parloa in 5 countries in 10 different languages. Decathlon, for example, was able to decrease their call volume handled by agents by more than 20% with Parloa, and 3 in 4 customers are authenticated automatically by Parloa before speaking to an agent, which decreases the average handling time by about 30 seconds per call of an agent. And maybe also a commerce case here, HSE, Home Shopping Europe from Germany, is automating more than 3 million calls with Parloa every year and reaches a 70% conversion rate. So 7 out of 10 people do buy something on the phone, and a 10% upsell rate. So 1 out of 10 also buys something he or she didn't know he or she wanted to buy before calling. So there's an actual revenue upscale as well. And this is why we say with Parloa, every company in the world can build experiences like the one we've just experienced. And how do we do? And this is what I want to talk about now. We have, let's say, 5 golden rules for automating your contact center. And what do we not want to hear is something like this.
I'm afraid that's incorrect. Please repeat your input.
And I think, as I said, we all have heard that and we all hate it. So we ask ourselves the questions, how does the perfect AI phone bot sound like? And here's my rule number 1, let's say. Rule number 1, an AI phone bot should learn to speak like humans, so will sound like them. So please don't build bots that sound like this.
I need a keyword that corresponds to your request so that I can direct you to the correct department. Please say a keyword now.
Or even worse,
Please say contract if it's about your contract, new claim if you want to report a claim, existing claim if you need information about a claim you've already reported, or say other for anything else.
I think that's the worst experience I've ever heard. And this is not only invented, I heard it, I really heard it. So, and here's how we approach every single start of a call.
What can I do for you?
And you can freely speak, you can say whatever you want, and the AI understands what you're doing. You can just say about your needs. So think of it. Don't write for a reader, write for a listener. Always read your texts aloud and as you write them. Second one, avoid technical wordings or instruction and be as brief as possible. And the third one, as a rule, maybe the simpler the language, the better the UX. So this is my rule number 1. Let's talk about rule number 2. An AI phone bot moves the conversation forward with every interaction. What do I mean by that? And this is, we're talking about intelligent bots finally. So this is what I mean. Let's say I want to change my address and I have this question being asked.
What is the zip code of your new address in Germany?
10187.
10187. Got it. And which street and house number should I put down?
I'm sorry, I meant 10178.
Unfortunately, I couldn't find a street with that name. Please repeat.
I think it's pretty obvious for everyone in the call that I didn't say any street or street number. I repeated a 5-digit zip code from Germany. So the better experience is here to let the bot move forward, understand the context, and better say,
Okay, 10178. No problem. And what is the street and house number?
and the same is also not only for me doing mistakes, but also, let's say I moved there because I don't know it. I got the question again, what is the zip code? And I say, Oh, a moment. I don't know it by heart yet.
No problem. I'm happy to wait.
And I'm looking for it and I'm saying to the bot, good, we can keep going.
Great. So what's your zip code?
And this is what you actually need to use the technology for. Don't think of AI just as technology that can understand and sound great. This is obvious, but try building really great bots by, for example, letting the bot move forward in the conversation. And also, rule number 3, an AI phone bot always takes responsibility for any misunderstandings, because it's not only the people on the other end, it's mainly the technology. So let's say,
And what year were you born?
96.
I'm afraid this isn't a real year. Please try again.
So what should happen here, although the technology, let's say, hasn't a good speech-to-text model by one reason or another, but the better answer, of course, is not, I'm afraid this isn't a real year because I said a real year. You didn't understand me. Let the bot just say,
Sorry, which year was it?
so I made a mistake. I'm sorry, but which year was it? And which brings me to another rule, because Mighty 6 could also have been handled better due to, for example, better speech-to-text models, contextual speech-to-text models. And this is rule number 4, an AI phone bot loves context. What do I mean by that? And it's pretty interesting, maybe also. I asked ChatGPT just days ago, okay, what does it need to take AI to a customer service? And it gave me a list of things. And I think the first or the second point was give context to the machine so it can do great dialogues. And this is exactly what we do at Parloa, because we think every conversation is only as good as the context itself. So for the context, you can easily integrate, of course, your AI phone bot into every call center infrastructure, connect your backends, whatever you can think of, and also use some Parloa-specific functions like the post-processing of things that are being said, also the contextual listening. And I will show you an example of that in a minute, as well as speech-to-text hints. So what do I mean by that? Let's think of an authentication, and the machine should know everything it has, because maybe it recognizes my number, so it can be aware of my name, of my insurance number, or whatever. So let me give you an example of what I mean.
Please tell me your full first and last name as well as your customer number in order to authenticate you.
Yeah, my name is Kieran O'Reilly, and my customer number is 473 654 96. So here's happening a lot based on AI. So we are using speech-to-text hints in order to prime our technology with information relevant and contextual information relevant, for example, to the customer or for an address change. You can even change these hints within one conversation. So use it for authentication and asking for a name, because my suggestion would be non-generic speech-to-text model would know how to write the name of our great developer, Kieran O'Reilly. But if we give it a hint, it knows how to write it. The same is for numbers. If we know we are asking for a customer number, we can contextually listen and then continue listening, because we know, okay, there should be 8 digits. Why should I interrupt the user after 3 digits? You may have experienced that. It's the so-called end of speech. And the worst bots do always say, oh, it's the wrong number, 473, you made a mistake. But I started telling numbers, so please wait for me telling the numbers. Just because I made a human pause doesn't mean I made a mistake. And as you do it for names, you can also do it for addresses. For example, in Germany, we often use it for the zip code, and we ask for every street name, and when we prime the speech to text within the call without being pre-trained or anything. So this is what I mean by context. The conversation is only as good as its context. And rule number 5 brings me to my last point. Start thinking about your large language model of tomorrow. So that's maybe just a couple of minutes. Let's focus on large language model. What do I mean by that? Most of you have heard of it in the context of ChatGPT, or if you heard the news, maybe already because of GPT-4. So what is it? What is a large language model, and how can it or how will it revolutionize your contact center? GPT-4 from OpenAI is, as well as other large language models, a great technology. Why is it? Because it has a richer understanding of language than ever before. But they are also generic models in itself. So of course, there are low-hanging fruits, like I showed you already. You can create training data, you can create responses or dialogue flows or whatever you can think of, very generic informations. But as I said, generic models in itself. And let's think of all these large language models just like we think of an agent on her first day. What do I mean by that? She has general knowledge from the school or from the internet, and she can convey this knowledge, and she can interact with people even with unexpected input. That's pretty much the same that ChatGPT or GPT-4, for example, can do. But this agent on her first day has no internal company knowledge. She is unaware of companies' processes and systems, and she's not familiar with your communication guidelines. So the same is for the model. How do we enable this agent? By training about processes, structures, communication guidelines, everything. And this needs to be done also for the models. And if you're interested in that, let's dive into a special session, but I will give you an example of how we approach this training thing. Let's think of a caller calling your hotline, and in the best case, there's Parloa solving the issue automatically, just like we have heard from the Chronos insurance. But there will be soon a second step that is already possible today. Parloa will loop in an agent to select or formulate an answer. So the experience for the customer is pretty much the same. The voice stays the same, but the texts are spoken or chosen directly by an agent. Pretty hard to understand without a slide, so I created a slide for that. Let's say we have a caller asking, hey, I have a question regarding my recent hospital invoice, because if I see correctly, you only paid back 50% of it. Sounds a bit German, is a German example, but can you please explain why? Then we have this intermediate response of Parloa asking for a little bit of time. With pleasure, please be patient for a moment while I take a look at this. Now, what is happening? The agent is seeing the transcript in real time and is choosing one of two AI-generated responses, because the AI, of course, if you ask that ChatGPT, it will have a generic answer. If we train it beforehand, it will understand how to generate a real answer, and the agent will then choose the right answer, for example, number 2, and will be played out via text-to-speech in real time. The hospital service is a voluntary supplementary benefit if in your family's favorites plan, and so on and so on. So this is how agents can train the AI. And the cool thing about all of this, now I showed you an example of 2 English-speaking people. The agent can, of course, also, let's say, speak Greek and sit in Greece because, I don't know, it's cheaper or the sun is often there. So the caller again is asking, why did you pay back only 50%? Again, we have this intermediate response. We have AI-generated responses in the agent's language. The agent is picking, it's real-time translated, and then being played out via text-to-speech. Without showing you the complete video, but I can show you a bit of an idea how this is working. I don't know if anyone out there is speaking Swedish. I don't, but let's think we are the agent, and we have a look at what we call augmented agent.
Välkommen till Kronos Shopping. Detta är ett automatiskt översatt samtal. Prata bara med oss på svenska. Ibland kan det ta lite längre tid att få ett svar, så ha tålamod. Jag kopplar dig till en anställd nu.
Hej, du pratar med Anna. Hur kan jag hjälpa dig?
Hej, jag har inte fått min beställning än. Den skulle ha varit här för 2 dagar sedan, men den har inte dykt upp. Skulle ni kunna hjälpa mig?
Okej, ett ögonblick tack.
May I have your order number and your full name so I can check for you?
Kan jag få ditt ordernummer och ditt fullständiga namn så kan jag kolla.
Okej, mitt namn är David Karlsson och ordernumret är... Ett ögonblick.
So, and I jump over it. You can think of, I hope you get a glimpse of what we are building there. So Parloa as a platform to orchestrate the best AI and enable all your agents and all your customers to have a great experience. This is what we're building on in order also to train your generative AI and your large language models. So as you see, Parloa is in the next step looping in an agent that can formulate or pick an answer from the AI in every language you can think of, including Klingon, if it's interesting for you. And then there's the third step. Of course, there's also a possibility that this experience is not enough, and we humans always want to speak with a human, and we shouldn't interrupt everyone of speaking to a human. So we are forwarding to an agent, to an expert, that we can also transcribe the way we just did. And all of these interactions can, for example, train the large language model and make it your large language model, because you don't want to use any generic large language model out there. You want to make it your own large language model, and this is where we help you with. So we enable large language models for contact centers, and we call it generative AI for contact centers. Or to make it a bit bolder and a bit bigger here, generative AI for your contact center is just around the corner. Let me summarize the 5 rules I've just shown you. Rule number 1, should learn to speak like humans, so it will sound like them. The phone bot moves the conversation forward with every interaction. It always takes responsibility for any misunderstandings. And it loves context, just like every one of us does. So my rule number 5, start thinking today about your large language model of tomorrow. And now we have 6 minutes left, I guess. Julie, handing back over to you. Time for your questions, I would say.
Yes, really, really wonderful. Thank you so much, Axel, for these great insights and great tips. And I think it's become quite clear, hopefully also to you, dear listeners and viewers, on how AI is already impacting customer service and what is also going to look like in the future. It's really amazing content. Thank you, Axel. If you have questions now, please put them into the question or the chat box on the side. We have received a couple. I'll leave you a couple more seconds to do that. Just so you know, Axel, people have said they have actually understood the Swedish examples. Yeah. So Dirk was actually the one who also knew what they were saying. People love that one especially. So the first question that Marcus is asking is, but you guys always integrate with existing ACD systems next to CRMs and so on, right? Let's pick that one right away.
Yes, a quick answer, right. So Parloa is a platform owning an audio stream, but nothing without, let's say, Genesis, Cisco, or whatever ACD you're using, as well as any Salesforce or whatever CRM you're using. So we are embedding ourselves. You can think of Parloa just like a scalable agent with one zip account. So this is what the technology is called. You may have heard of it. One zip account being able to do a lot of calls in parallel and also connected to every system you are already using.
Very, very nice. Someone sent it via the question section. And what do we have here? So someone said, what happens with requests a bot cannot answer? That was Sebastian.
A very fair question. As I said, I'm former lead of our experience team, and this is always the greatest issue to overcome, because you don't want all of this. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Can you repeat that? So we understand Parloa also as a tool that is not breaking things away from an agent, but only just delivering the best possible experience also for an agent. So whenever the machine, the bot is not able to answer very well, we try it once again, maybe twice, and then forward to an agent, or as I have just shown you, looping in an agent to keep the same experience as it is. So to put it very simple words, Parloa, and I would say every other tool out there, is nothing but a if-then-else tool for now. This will change with GPT and every large language model, and we're happy to talk about that in more detail. But for now, you always design if this, then that, else that. And you have to design that because you want a great experience.
Yes, most important thing. Very true. Marcus had another question, so let's choose that one right away. He specifically is asking about and the backend where agents are working and their interface is also not Parloa, right?
Yes. So the one I've just shown you with the augmented agent, for example, can be easily embedded as an iframe or whatever into the software the agents are using. We are deeply partnering with Genesis, but every other ACD. So the tool for the agent won't change, but the information and thus every call, hopefully, will change for better.
Very cool. What I'm super interested in is how many languages and dialects can our voice bot actually speak?
Also a good question. So in this case, also regarding, for example, OpenAI and GPT, I guess we have a great advantage here. We are partnering a lot with Microsoft. Of course, we can embed every voice. You can think of also your custom voices. So nowadays, it's already possible to create custom neural voices. Just send a speaker to a studio, let her or him record about 2 to 3 hours of audio files, and then you can synthesize this language, this voice, and use it in different languages. But mainly talking about the speech to text, I guess it's, I'm not sure about numbers, but I guess it's 40 to 50 different languages, and I guess more than 400 voices you can use within Parloa in different languages already, including in German, for example, Switzer German, which is for me always again pretty interesting, but also multilingual voices. Also maybe interesting for you to have a English-speaking bot that can also speak Spanish and Italian, German, and whatever in the same voice, which is also one voice to the customer. Very interesting.
Super cool. Just imagine having your own voice, but with your own personal voice and branding. I would love that for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. Axel, I think we have 1-2 more slides, and then we can wrap it up here.
Yeah, sure. Next question is, if this was interesting, or maybe you're interested more in the GPT future of contact centers, or just want to use Parloa and try it out, feel free to schedule a personal meeting with us and request an individual workshop. So because we're interested not only in selling a software, but enabling you to use AI and be a part of your journey in automating and optimizing your contact center with AI. So I would say these are 2 steps you could go: schedule a meeting and request your workshop. Just write me an email or call me, and let's talk about that.
Wonderful last words. Thank you again, Axel, and everyone else. Great to have you. Thanks for the questions. Happy to see you next time. It was a lot of fun, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.